the question I have is quite controversial because the thing is, most of us here are financial enthusiasts. So I think most of us too have read about Kiyosaki, and he keeps on saying that your house is not an asset. You get it? And over here in Ghana too, they've taken the argument to another level where they are even arguing that even your car is not an asset. So, from your point, what do you think is an asset, and what do you think is not an asset?
That's a good one. So your regular accountant will see your house and a car as an asset, but when you come to the investment side, we'll see as an asset as something that generates income for you. So you have a house, but you are renting it, is generating income. You are doing Airbnb, it's generating income.
Income.
That's what we see as an asset. However, you can even be living in the house, but it can be an asset when you sell it. You
Okay.
understand? If you sell the house and it brings you money, it's an asset. But the truth is that if you are not doing any of these things, it may look like a liability because something is getting spoiled. A few weeks ago, the transformer home blew up. The kitchen cabinet doors are breaking down. You need to fix that. So you realize that it's more like it's a liability than it's an asset. So it depends. It depends on how you see things and even your purpose for having
Right.
those things. But I think this is important because a lot of Ghanaians place too much emphasis on having a home at the expense of their financial security. So you can
That's
have
true.
people work so hard to build an 8-bedroom mansion and not even have money to maintain the mansion because everything has gone into that house. You understand? It's the same
That's
with
true.
car. Car insurance, I don't know if anybody has insured their car, comprehensive insurance. It's not cheap. It is not cheap at all. It's very expensive. Maintenance is extremely expensive. So you can have a car, but it's coming with cost. You understand? But if you
Yeah.
sell this car, you can make money off it. If you are using this car for Uber or whatever it is, you can make money off it. So it always
Outfit.
depends on what you are using this thing for. But the accountant see it as an asset because you can dispose of it and make money. That's why as they keep on depreciating, if you have a car, they depreciate it
Over.
every year because as it becomes older, the value, the amount that you should get for this car reduces. But we know that in Ghana, even if you have a 20-year-old car, you will still cash out. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And so, talking about the housing and stuff, at this very point, let's say if someone does not have like the funds, let me say, yeah, you have the funds. You think if you buy a house, it would be cool. But then after buying the house, that would put, yeah, let me say, your assets or let me say your net worth into red. You get it. So, do you think like what's the maths behind like the advantage? I just want to know the advantage of renting a house over buying, like any math to buttress that point.
I think that in Ghana, the reason why most people want to own a house being like prestigious because I mean it's like we see Diane, why are there, that kind of thing. It's also the fact that with rent, because our city is not very stable, you don't know what to expect. Today your
Mm,
rent is 1,500, tomorrow is something else, especially if you are moving around. So people think that once you have your own house, you um sort of freeze that expense. But there's also maintenance that comes with owning your own house. Unless when a door gets broken, you really don't care. There are people like that. They really don't care. They'll live in the house as it is. But there's also maintenance, which comes at a cost, which a lot of us don't really talk about. Rent is also good if you are not too sure what you are not too sure what your next move is going to be. So you want to be
okay.
as flexible as possible. so that you don't have a house that you are now, and houses can take a bit of a while to dispose of, especially if you want a good price. It can take years to be able to sell, a property. So you want to be flexible. So it may not make sense for you to buy a house. You may want to rent, so that when you decide that whatever, you are just packing and moving. Especially for those of us who are working on moving out of the country, we are not sure what the next move will be. It may not make too much sense for you to tie all your money into building when you know that at any point you'll get up and move, unless you are sure what you'll be using that building for. Once you are not you are not what do you call it, there. Also, building gives you some form of stability, because I mean, at least you have the house, you live here, you are probably going to live there for the rest of your life. Like most Ghanaians hardly move from one, like if it's their own house, they hardly move from that house to
To
another
another.
house. So
Yeah.
there's some kind of stability. Whereas rent, your landlady or landlord can come and tell you that I'm no longer interested, you need to leave. So there's some, lack of stability that comes with rent, but it also comes with flexibility. And there's some stability that comes with having your own house, but it can be very expensive to own your own house. And then we should also try and find out ways and means, of building. Our parents spent their whole lifetime building mansions just to get there and realize that, all their children are gone. So if building
Hmm.
is a thing for you, just think about shelter. Build something that's sensible, so you're not putting too much money in. Some of us also have, may probably have our parents have big lands. Let's formalize it. Tell them that, okay, either can I buy this land from you, change the title to my name for a lower price, or can you give me this as a gift, change the title to my name, and then build on that small piece of land. There's no need for you to go and build at some faraway place when your father has a huge piece of land. But do it rightly, so that family members won't come for you, when you've poured all your money into it. So we need to start looking, like getting creative with how we build. That whole
Okay.
thing of building a 10-bedroom house, it's no longer necessary. We need shelter. If you get to a point in your life where you think that now you have money and you want to blow it on a 10-bedroom, and you think you get people to live in the house and clean the house and maintain that, it comes with a whole different lifestyle, then you can go ahead and do that. But if you are renting to, there's no problem with that. Just have in mind that prices in Ghana increase. If you are on retirement, these are some of the things that you want to protect yourself against. So think through what you want your living to look like, and if you can just get something small to manage, that's fine.
Wow. Thank you very much. So, guys, I hope you guys are learning. I'm sure more of you signed up thinking that, yeah, there's a get rich quick this one seminar or boot camp you are joining, but then each one that is not of that life. We are looking at sustainable wealth, and yes, as we rightly have our expert over here, she's really churning out a lot of nuggets for us to feed on. So I hope you guys just stick to the end and keep on learning. Yeah. So let's move from house a bit, but still on building, or let me say, building your net worth. You see, we have people, even for this year, people had goals of saving up to, let me say, pay for this university, or let me say, further their education. So in cases like that, where someone saves, like, yeah, we have people who can save up, especially for these guys who Japan and go and study outside. They can save, like, they can have all of their life savings, then they will give it to these agents and guys to just work out something for them, just in order to go and further their education, maybe their master's or PhD outside. What do you think of that one as well? Is it something worth, like, is it a risk worth taking in building your assets?
So, especially when you are young, I think that you should try as much as possible to increase your income earning abilities. And so if you think for you that is traveling, why not? However, do your homework so that you don't end up putting your money or going to give your money to someone and not get the result. Sometimes you may even get the result, but you may go to the country and realize that what you thought it was is not what it is.
Not like,
So I
yeah,
think that a lot of the time we just get up and go because we believe that going outside is like getting to heaven. Once we get there, all our problems are solved. But that is
that's all.
really not the case. You understand?
True.
So do your homework. Do your homework, prepare, plan. A lot of those, I like to watch the videos of those who have moved outside. A lot of them emphasize on planning, being liquid, not going with nothing. So that when life hits you, you are found because you don't even know this environment. You understand?
True.
So I do
Yeah.
believe in taking risk when you are young. I believe that as a young person, increase your income earning abilities. I mentor people. Just last week I was telling some young people that in your 20s it's not time to be relaxing and saying I'm young, I'm taking life easy. Go hard, like push. If you need to get an education, get it. If you need to, just like push hard, because the time will come where you cannot take as much risk because you have responsibilities. You can't go
Mm.
and give all your money to your agent when the school fees you need to pay, there are children you need to feed. You understand? So if you
Yeah.
find yourself in a place where you can take more risk, take it, but take calculated risk. Do your research. Don't just do because everybody is doing it, you are doing it. No, do your research and make sure you have an emergency fund so that if anything goes wrong, at least you have a buffer. But be aggressive in your 20s. I think it's very important that if you are young, you take advantage of that and go aggressive, because as you grow older, those opportunities may not necessarily
Yep.
be there. Yeah, or they may
Okay.
come with consequences.
Thank you very much. So, guys, be aggressive as you are young. You need to leverage on that, like leverage on your youthfulness to grow out. Yeah. So, please, you've talked about the emergency fund and how it is important. So, in building, or let me say, creating your net worth, what role does the emergency funding play in a healthy financial strategy?
Okay. So first of all, the emergency fund will also fall under the assets, will help build the assets, because assets can even include cash. It can include
Okay.
the money in your bank account. And
Okay.
emergency fund will, you normally, depending on the size, you normally put this in a savings account that you don't touch on a normal day, because this is for emergencies. Or you can also put it in a fund that you can easily access. So it's an investment, but you can easily access it should there be an emergency. Okay, so all these are assets, so they'll help grow your asset side. And like I said, if you have an emergency fund before you invest, it helps you to take wiser financial decisions, because you are not forced to take money, quickly from a place where you should have kept it over a long period because you didn't have a buffer. So if you bought MTN shares, I'm trying to remember the price of the share when it's in initially, was it like 0.75 or something? And we know that at a certain, I can't remember the price, but at a certain point, the prices went down. You understand? And
Yeah.
it have looked like a bad decision at that point. But now it has increased significantly. It's now 2 point something CDs. So you bought it at less than 1 CD, some pesos, and then it's now 2 points. I've forgotten a specific price.
2.65.
2.65
Yeah.
CD per share. You understand? So if you
Yeah.
had the emergency fund and there was an emergency and that sorted, you will have the time to wait. So now if I have 1,000 shares now, that 1,000 shares is worth so much. But if I
Very
didn't,
true.
I'll take it at the maybe I'll take it when the price has dropped, and I'll lose out on, the growth that I could have gotten from that investment. So I think yes, investment emergency funds are very important when it comes to your financial health. They prevent you from taking some financial decisions that will not help. They also take away financial stress. I don't know if you've ever lost a job or had an issue with your car or something just came up, and you just know that you have some money somewhere. It's different from when you don't know where you are going to get the money from. So that peace of mind,
That's true.
that financial stress that it just takes off you. I think it's a great thing that we should all desire for.
Oh, okay. I think I really relate with this one because that would be around is it 2020? Yeah, 23. We had people really buying into Bitcoin because of its boom. And yeah, late 2022, it started dropping. Like we had the hype happening around 2020. So people bought Bitcoin out of the some FOMO, fear of missing out. Then later on, when it started dropping, these guys who didn't do their due diligence started selling off because, as you rightly said, most of these guys didn't have an emergency fund and they thought if this one goes, that's all for me. So they
Yeah,
started selling off their Bitcoin portfolio. And lo and behold, currently Bitcoin is hovering around 100,000. And these guys are like they are regretting this one. They
exactly.
are regretting selling it currently. So as you said, guys, I think you need to build this one. As you are building your wealth, you need to make space for an emergency fund so that you don't end up eating into your investments. Otherwise, you regret it. Yeah. So with the next question, I would like you to walk us through the main traditional investment vehicles available here in Ghana.
Okay. So I wanted to say that there are so many opportunities in Ghana. You don't need to leave the shores of Ghana to find good jobs, to find good money. Uh, if you have the opportunity, why not? In terms of traditional investments, we have what we call the money market investments. These are investments that mature within or in less than a year. So we already know of our almighty treasury bills. In Ghana, if you don't know any investments, at least we all know treasury bills. We have our
Treasury. Yeah.
91-day treasury bills, our 182-day treasury bills, and then our 364 day treasury bills. Currently the 91 day is doing around 28,
Wow.
and the 364 around 30%. So this presents some opportunities, especially for those of us who don't want to take too much risk, or we are investing towards a short-term thing. We want as much stability as possible. T-bills are available. And the money market instruments, we also have fixed deposits. Now, fixed deposits are the treasury bills is like government is taking a loan from you. Government needs to pay teachers, needs to pay nurses, needs to work on the roads, needs to do this, needs to do that. So they are taking a loan from us in the form of treasury bill, like a short
Treasury
term
bills.
loan with a promise to pay, us
Okay.
back. With fixed deposits, it's financial institutions that are taking the loan. So you can buy a fixed deposit from a bank, you can buy a fixed deposit from a savings and loans, you can buy a fixed deposit from a microfinance. Now, buying a fixed deposit from a savings and loans compared to a bank comes with a lot more risk. Buying and because of that, you will get better interest from the savings and loans than you will get from the bank. But it means that there's a higher likelihood that you may lose your money with the savings and loans. When you go to the microfinance, the risk increases. I hope we understand. So the bank, the risk is lower than the savings and loan. The savings and loans risk is lower than the microfinance. The higher
Wow.
the risk, the more the return. Because if I'm going to give you money that I know there's a higher likelihood of losing that money, you have to give me more money for it to make sense for me to
Okay.
do that investment. I have to be compensated for the risk that I'm about to take. You understand?
Yes,
So
please.
from these places, we can get what you call it, fixed deposits. Then we have money market mutual funds. So money market mutual funds, these are funds or their pool of funds that invest in some of these assets I've spoken about. So these funds are these funds assume that okay, we are taking money from person A, B, C, D. Now we have so much money. We are going to diversify, buy some 91-day treasury bill, buy some 364-day treasury bill, buy some fixed deposits, buy some repos, and all of them are short-term investments. So the main objective of the fund is to meet short-term needs. So even though it's a mutual fund, we pull money from different people. The objective is short term, so we don't do any long term investment here. And this is ideal for people who may not necessarily have a lump sum to invest, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. They have 100 CDs and they want to do something. They have 10 CDs and they want to do something. 20, 30, 40, 50 is for everybody. Okay, so it
Okay.
pulls money from different people, and when we get that lump, we are able to diversify. Okay,
Oh,
so that's the money market mutual fund. Then we can go to the fixed income funds. So with the fixed income
okay.
funds, we are looking at more like just like the treasury bill, but this time longer term. So we have the government of Ghana bonds, which is the treasury bill, but a longer term, and that's the one that had the domestic,
The
you
haircut.
know, the debt restructuring. Those are the
Yeah.
ones. So some of us didn't have the bonds directly, but we had invested in mutual funds, probably with EDC, Data Bank, ETC, and we went and they said there's a haircut. It's because what
Yeah.
the fund was invested in, which is the bonds, had the haircut or was restructured. That's why you are suffering, that loss. So the
Wow.
bonds, we have government of Ghana bonds. So like I said, these are long term. You are giving government a loan, but it's for a longer term than the 1 year. You understand?
Okay.
We have
Yeah.
corporate bonds. Recently, Casa Preco came out to issue corporate bonds. They want to use it for one or two things, and they come to the market and say, okay, give us this money. We'll give you, this amount within this period, etc. People are interested, they buy corporate bonds. We don't have too many of them, but those options are available, especially to institutional investors. So we have corporate bonds as well. Then, these are fixed income securities. So if you have a mutual fund invested in these securities, then that's what we call a fixed income mutual fund. You
Okay.
understand? So most of the mutual funds that were affected by the DDP were fixed income mutual funds.
Wow.
Okay. Then we have equities. So equities, we have shares. We've heard of Guel, Total Ghana, SGSSB, Guinness Ghana, what do you call it? GCB shares, Talo, um, new gold ETF. These are all okay. Let me put the new gold ETF aside. These are all shares. So shares is you want to be a CEO. Not everyone can be a CEO. You understand? Not everyone
Yeah.
body can start their own company, but everybody can be an owner of a company. All you
True.
need to do is buy shares. So as I sit here, I am an owner of MTN because I have MTN shares. When MTN makes profit, I'm going to receive some in the form of dividends. You understand? When
Yeah.
MTN is doing well and people are confident in MTN, the share price will increase and I benefit. So I don't necessarily need to start a business. I can buy shares. You understand? And you buy
Mm.
shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and you can do so through a broker. Fortunately, now there are apps that allow you to buy shares. You don't necessarily need to walk to somebody's office to go and buy shares. So you can, with that, just like you are investing in a company, you want to know what they do, what is their potential, is there a potential of making profit, and what does competition look like, how is it affecting the potential or the future of the business. You ask questions before you go and put your money in a business. If I were to come to you and I told you that I want to start a business, this, you ask me so many questions before you give me your hard-earned money. It's the same. Why do I choose MTN? MTN is a market leader. I think they are strategic. Their Momo business is just growing. Then, okay, as a result, I want to buy MTN. I want to benefit from this. Some of you, you are always buying data, always buying airtime. You are just giving MTN your money. How about you buy some of the shares so that you
Yeah.
benefit from that money you are giving to them? Okay, there are other companies on the stock exchange. I've mentioned GCB, the Standard Chartered. There are other opportunities on it. So if you can't be a CEO, or even if you're a CEO, you can diversify by buying shares in more established companies. Okay, so that
Very true.
is
Yeah.
equities and shares, and this is more volatile. Like I said, you can buy the share today. MTN can be fantastic, but for whatever reason, something happens and then the share price goes down. But if it's
Goes
a
down.
solid company, it will definitely go up. So you don't sell, you hold on. And the thing about shares, which I'm sure the same can go into crypto. Is someone said something. I was in a webinar just this weekend, a crypto webinar, and someone said that when you start hearing noise about a particular investment, that's not the time to buy.
That's true. That's very
That is
true.
not the time to buy. When you're a crypto, what do you call a Bitcoin, or what are the names, BNB or whatever? That's not the time to buy. The time to buy was when nobody was seeing it, when the price was.
Exactly.
Okay, so you are looking for opportunities in the market. What are some of the stocks that have been undervalued? What are some of the stocks that you believe the prices are low? Then you buy it and then hold on to it. And then when the prices go up, when everybody is clamoring for it, then you can decide to sell it if you want to what you call it, crystallize your gains. Okay, so that's with um equities. And then we have commodities. You can invest in commodities. So now one of the most popular commodities is gold. We've heard of the Ghana gold coin. We've heard of the Ghana gold coin is quite expensive. But there's also the new gold ETF. The new gold ETF is also something you can buy on the Ghana stock exchange. Okay, and it's doing quite well. I think last year it returned about, if I can remember clearly, about 78%. You
Wow.
understand? And gold is a good addition to your portfolio. Um, because gold tends to do well in times where there's uncertainty. So during COVID, we saw that a lot of people were generally scared, and so would like to keep their wealth in gold. So demand for gold goes up, and now central banks are trying to use gold to sort of preserve the value of their currency. So the demand for gold is going up. So you can also
Yeah.
decide to buy gold as part of your portfolio. Of course, you can decide to go and buy the physical gold and put it in your house. But you know that if anybody hears about it, it's going to be
You're
a
dead.
Sicily Adapa situation. You understand? And we don't need that. So you can just buy the new gold ETF, which tracks the performance of gold. And then you can also benefit from that. If you have the money to, you can also decide to buy the Ghana gold coin. I think the last I heard, I think the lowest you can buy is like 10,000 or something, for the Ghana gold coin. So commodities are there. Then we have your real investments, like investments in the real sector. You have businesses, you have real estate and all those things. These are normally very capital intensive, very capital intensive, and can be very illiquid. You can buy a land and it can take you forever to be able to sell, the land. You can start a business and it may not be very easy to dispose of that business. It's only Ghana here that you start a business and you hold it till you die. Outside, someone can start a business and sell it, see an opportunity to sell it, make their money and move on to another
The next one.
yes, the next one. You understand? The next one, yes. Then we have alternatives. So alternatives, we have private equity. So private equity, maybe your guy B comes around. So the informal one, your guy comes around, Charlie, I just started this water business. I believe so much. I've added maybe some vitamin C in the water. I believe that people will purchase it. This is what I want to use your money to do. You sign the documents because NIMPA is bad. You sign the documents, you put in place every structure, and then you give the guy the money. It makes money, you win. He loses money, you lose.
You
Okay,
lose.
there's also the formalized one where we have private equity businesses or venture capitalists, capital firms that also normally raise funds from what you call institutional investors and high net worth clients and go and invest them in businesses with the hope that they will make so much from these businesses. But if the businesses don't do well too, they lose out. So I've spoken about the formal way and then the
Informal way.
informal way of taking of private equity. Then we have all your cryptos and all the other crazy investments there. And like I said, these are investments that you don't go and like I ask you, okay, what's in your investment portfolio, and all you have is crypto. I don't know. Maybe we'll need some prayers for you. You should have. If you think crypto is your thing, you can have a part of your portfolio, depending on how much loss you can stomach. You can have a part of your portfolio into crypto. I tried to learn about crypto in 2022. It was one of the most complicated things ever. And so I got someone to teach me. I had to even pay him with some of my what do you call it? Is it called the stable coin, the USDT? What's it called?
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
stable coin, USDT.
I had to pay him some. Otherwise, I would have been richer by now. But I had to pay
Wow.
him some. But I just found it a bit complex.
Yeah, true.
Navigating the platform a bit complex. So I just put something there just to see, like FOMO, but Bibi Kakra, there just to
Yeah.
see, how it goes. Yes, it went down because I bought in 2021, I think. It
Okay.
went down, it's gone up again. I can't really be bothered, to be honest.
You can't. Nah, you can't.
Because I didn't put all my money there. And I
Into
think
it.
that with
Yeah.
high risk investments, that's the way to go about it. Maybe one day it will become a $1 million. I don't know. It's
That's
some
true.
coins I put there, but maybe it will become $1 million. I don't know. But at least,
Hopefully.
it doesn't change my life if it becomes a $1 either. Yes, so that's about it with the investment space. It's important for you to, number one, understand your objective, why you are investing, understand your risk tolerance. So if you are somebody who is afraid of risk, please don't go and invest in crypto and come and say that Osajefo is the one that has caused your high blood pressure. Know yourself. Know yourself.
Yeah.
If you know that losing one CD can cause you problems, don't go and play. Sometimes, FOMO, our friends are doing it, this is that, but it is not your thing. Don't force it. Or take risks little by, just put a little in. Take risks little by little. Okay. Then so that's your risk tolerance. then your tenure, which is even tied into your objective. How long do you even have to invest? So your father has given you school fees. You are paying this school fees. The due date is in 2 months, and you are going to put it in crypto. The school you are going to drop out. You understand? So the tenure is also very important. And then do your research. In this, I don't know, by nature of the way we are as Ghanaians, we tend to make a lot of decisions based on, like, oh, a friend has done it, so I'm also
True.
doing it. Beyond a
Yeah.
friend doing it, do your homework, ask
Yeah.
questions, ask questions so that it doesn't become the 2 years ago a client was harassing me, telling me that I should just pay some client his money. So this was one of those times where the dollar had gone down from 15 to 8. And if you are conservative, your whole belief is that it won't improve, even though we are in Ghana. And we know that
True.
the dollar will always appreciate in value
Rise.
because
Yeah.
the fundamentals are weak. He was so scared, and unfortunately for him, his friend asked him what investment he was doing. He told the friend the investment, and the friend came to do some, and the friend was going around telling everybody that his friend advised him to go and do an investment. Now he has gone to do the investment and he's hot.
Ah.
So, so please ask questions. You can't blame anybody for your
Yeah.
investment decisions. So I've said all these things, but make sure that the decision is your own. Some of these things should be bought. Yes, that's it. It should be bought, not sold to you. So make sure it aligns with your objectives, aligns with your risk profile, your investment tenure. These are very important things before you go ahead and invest. And by all means, for those of you who are risk averse, like myself, I really used to be risk averse. Like, you won't see me buying equity, you won't see me buy, but I bought crypto. So you can tell that I've changed. So dip your feet a bit, like, just try a bit. I'm not saying go and put all your money, but take a bit of risk, especially if you are young. Take a bit of risk. It's also important. Take a bit of risk, but make sure it's something that you can sleep at night. Like, you can sleep at night with whatever decision you've taken.